Hello and welcome to Martyn Lucas Investor. My name is Sensei and you are watching the FOMC Minutes, which will be live in 19 minutes. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Just let me know you're here. Say hello in the chat. I see we've got a few people in already. Let me read the chat. We've got Lance Strength here. We've got Subwoofer here, Cameron Griffin, the General. Start off the stream with a sneeze. Wow, look at this. Cameron Griffin says 14 likes. Rubbish. It is rubbish. What's going on? Let me know you're here. Say hello in the chats. Hit the like button. It takes 1 second. We are here for the FOMC Minutes. This is so much more important, in my opinion, than the FOMC report because we actually get to see what everyone was saying behind the scenes. And remember, this is Jerome Powell's last meeting. So we're going to see really what state they left it in for Warsh, the next Fed chair, whose signing in ceremony will be actually on Friday. So a lot to get through. And then we've got the setup for this, the votes, the biggest dissents in 33 years. We've got the playbook I want to share with you before the minutes get released. I'm going to give you my thoughts when it comes out. We're going to look at Bloomberg. We're going to do an analysis. What does it actually mean? And then Nvidia earnings. So we're going to look into the Nvidia cheat sheet just a little bit, look at some charts, answer your questions, and then go straight over to the Nvidia earnings. So a lot lined up for you guys today. And it starts with FOMC minutes in 18 minutes time. Someone sent 2 joules. What the hell is 2 joules? But we've got some. Cameron Griffin sent sparkles for 2 joules. Look at that. Look at that, Cameron Griffin. Thank you very much for that. I do not know what 2 joules are, and they're not. Let me turn on the super chat. Maybe that will come up on there as well. Interesting. Thank you for that. Never seen that before. Martyn has said he's having a tough day fighting for you, getting policy changed. Yes, actual change at Robinhood. So that is great information because some of their policies, as we know, need some work. So we will hear from Martyn later during the Nvidia earnings. Okay, so let's go over to the cheat sheet. Remember, this is releasing in 17 minutes, 7 p.m. UK time, 2 p.m. Eastern time. Again, you can see the times at the top right-hand side of your screen just very shortly. And what they're going to be covering is the April meeting. So the meeting we had about 20 days ago, that FOMC meeting, this is the minutes for that meeting. They get released 2 weeks after, so they don't have a big... Look at this, silver star from Cameron Griffin. This is incredible. Never seen this before. Thank you, Cameron Griffin. Sent a star for 2 joules. I don't know what it is, but thanks for doing it. Just using them, I have no idea, says Cameron Griffin. Well, thanks for using them. I don't know what they are. I'm assuming they're a type of super chat, so I appreciate it. So remember, this is the minutes for that meeting. We already know the headline. Rates were held at 3.5 to 3.75. And we know that there was an 8-4 split. But what we don't know, and what's really important, is the texture underneath that vote. So how many non-dissenters quietly sympathized with the hawks? How many people were actually hawkish? How many of those people that didn't actually vote for a change are actually sort of moving towards being hawkish? Or how many of those hawks are actually a bit dovish, but they wanted to have a change? In the minutes, we just see the behind the scenes, the conversations had in that meeting room. And the markets sometimes move a lot, but sometimes we get these minutes, and over the next few weeks, what the minutes show us move the market. So, for example, in the last 2 minutes, we actually, 2 FOMCs ago, when we covered the minutes, we started seeing words of hawkish. Last minutes, it actually was a bit more hawkish, rate hikes. So over the last 3 or 4 months, because we've covered the FOMC minutes and the rest of the market wasn't paying attention, we were the first to know, and I think we're the only channel that covers this, we were the first to know that actually forget about rate cuts, we're not having rate cuts, and we're actually looking a bit more hawkish and actually looking at rate hikes. We were the first people to say that. Why? Well, because we watch these minutes and we see what they're saying behind the scenes. They don't normally lead with this in the FOMC, but they do talk about it in the minutes. So again, if you have just tuned in, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't done so already. I'm keeping an eye on the chat as well. Hike those rates. Yeah, that could be the next decision. Not the next meeting is definitely going to be a hold. But what I'm talking about is the next rate decision when the rates actually change. The next one, which is not a pause. No one knows if it's going to be a cut or a hike, but actually the market's now pricing in the next one to be a hike. So we are in a fragile space in the market. We're down 3 days in a row now on the S&P 500. I believe. Let me just have a look at the chart. Let me make sure maybe the S&P is up. No, the S&P 500 is definitely up today. So we are back up on the S&P 500, but we are in a very fragile place in the market, in my opinion, anyway. I think everything's priced to perfection. Nothing can go wrong in the current state of the market. We're going to have Nvidia earnings later. So a lot to move the markets today. So let's talk about the economy. Let's go over to our cheat sheet and read through this for a second. So the macro picture going into tonight is more complicated than inflation versus jobs framing most desks are using. Most people are just talking about inflation versus jobs. That's not what we're talking about today. We're talking about inflation is re-accelerating. The Iran energy shock is still squeezing prices through. And the Bank of Japan is one major central bank still tightening, which is pushing Japanese capital out of US treasuries. April CPI inflation gauge came in at 3.8% year on year. That is the hottest reading since May of 2023. April PPI, which is the Producers Price Index, which tells us sort of in advance what CPI and PC is going to be, that came in at 6%, and that completely shocked the markets, showing that the trade services margins are logging their largest monthly gain on record, direct evidence that the tariff costs are flowing through into selling prices. March core PCE is now sitting at 3.2%, but remember, we are getting PCE next week, Friday next week on the 28th of May. The energy leg is the Iran war. Operation Epic Fury launched 28th of February, and the Strait of Hormuz disruption has Brent near $110 a barrel. That has not eased off. We are running out of oil. The IEA is running out of oil to give out. The UK and Europe is running out of jet fuel, where now the UK has just opened a contract with Russia. So this Iran war that everyone says is taking money out of these terrorist governments, in fact, it's arming them, because right now we're seeing sanctions removed from Russia, the UK buying oil from Russia, people paying to use the Strait of Hormuz, money going to Iran, sanctioned oil from Iran being allowed to be sold. So it's kind of a little bit different to what the mainstream media is reporting at the moment. Also, remember the Japanese Bank of Japan situation, the carry trade. For now, it's still continuing, but at some point it's going to get bigger, and it is getting bigger right now. So the unwind, when it happens, not if, when it happens, is going to be bigger than we first thought. Why? Well, because bonds in the US are increasing very fast. Jobs are a bit quieter. Payrolls have averaged around 48,000 over the last 3 months, but Q1 GDP held at 2% annualized. So we're not looking at a recession, or I'm not looking at a recession, and the numbers are not suggesting a recession right now. We're not in recession territory. We can see that jobs are not being lost too fast, and also GDP is still at positive territory. And again, that's the only reason the market's staying up. Why? Well, because people aren't losing their jobs very fast, and we're not in critical danger of GDP going negative. Those are the only two reasons the market is staying up. Yes, AI is playing a big part in where we are right now, but that's not the reason the markets are staying high. If GDP was looking worrying, or jobs were being lost fast, that's when the market will crash. Of course, there is an AI bubble. You can call it a bubble. It's not really strictly the same as the 2000 bubble, but let's call it a bubble for now. There is an issue of that, but that's not why those companies, the AI companies, are reporting well. We're going to see what Nvidia does tonight, but the reporting and the money they're making is there. Again, the nuance most coverage will miss tonight both the May 12th CPI and the May 13th PPI prints arrive after the April 29th meeting. So those bits of data that we have today, they didn't have when they wrote the minutes. So those minutes won't reflect the shock of May the 13th, that massive inflation shock, and the above average, above consensus CPI report that we got on May the 12th and the 13th when they wrote these minutes. That is not being taken into account. So it's even more bearish than what the report will suggest. Okay, so that's where the economy is right now. Why is that all grayed out? 1 second, let me open these all up. So that's what's left to go through. The bond market. Let's look at the setup, because the bond market is what's very concerning right now. So this is the most important macro context heading in. The 30-year Treasury closed near 5.2%. That is an 18-year high, the highest yields you've seen on a 30-year Treasury in 18 years. The 10-year is at 4.67%. That's the highest in 16 years. The 2-year is back above 4%. The curve is is in a clean bear steepener. The long end is selling off faster than the short end. So the two things worth understanding. First, bear steepening is the stagflation signal, not the inverted curve recession signal retail investors are used to hearing about. So you've heard about yield curves inverting. What we're talking about is the bear steepening. That's what's happening in the yield market right now. The inverted curve famously preceded prior recessions. This pattern is different. It says the market believes growth holds up, but inflation credibility is being tested. Secondly, long end vigilantes are demanding term premium because of three things stacked: sticky inflation, physical anxiety around the deficit, and the politicized Fed transition. This is the reason people are demanding more for their longer term yields, their longer term bonds. One is because inflation has been sticky and it hasn't been at target for 5 years. One is about spending policies in the US and how much money is being spent. And the second, and finally, is the deficit, how much the US government is owing and how quickly that debt is increasing. Also, the Fed is now looking less independent. Even Jerome Powell says he's staying on to make sure the Fed stays independent. And if the Fed isn't independent, the market stops trusting the US dollar, and they demand more for lending to the US government. The bond market is doing the tightening the Fed has chose not to do. The Fed isn't increasing rates, but the bond market is demanding higher yields. A dovish minutes that triggers another leg lower on the long end could actually be self-defeating, because higher, longer yields tighten financial conditions on their own through mortgages, corporate borrowing, and equity multiples. So remember, if you believe the Fed will come in and cut rates, it doesn't matter, because those mortgages, those long-term debts that companies take on and that individuals take on, that is not priced by what the Fed decides to do with the short-term yields. That is decided by the 10-year bonds. And if you're looking at the 10-year bonds, they are sitting at 16-year highs. People, the average person in the US, is spending more money. The cost of living in the US and around the world is getting worse. Potentially the worst it's been in 16 years, because they have to spend more on rent. Because if someone owns the house, they're renting it out, they're paying more on their mortgage, so they have to pass it on to the person paying rent. Because they're paying more on their mortgage, because they're paying more on their car loan, because things are getting more expensive in the supermarket. So we are having a bit of a crisis right now in terms of what's going on in the market, not just because of the oil shock, but because of other reasons. Underlying inflation is going up. So that's the setup going into this. But let's just take a step back to what actually happened in April, because remember, these are the FOMC minutes for the April FOMC. This is what most people miss. This is what is behind the scenes of what they say at the Federal Reserve, and this is Jerome Powell's final FOMC report. I'm just having a look at your comments, because I'm keeping an eye on this throughout this. Only 500. Michael Barry took only 500. What do you mean only 500? Do you think the Fed will be hawkish tonight or dovish? I think they'll be hawkish. Let me know if you're here in the chat. Please say hi in the chat. And also, a lot of people here who just haven't hit the like button. It takes 1 second. It's free. take a second to hit the like button. If you want to read along with me, get these cheat sheets, get these. We've got one for Nvidia, we've got one for the FOMC minutes, we've got one for every inflation data. You can get it for 3 people, the first 3 people. I think we're running this right now. If you click on it, you can see it's a 40% discount. It's live in the chat. First link in the description as well. So on the 29th of April, the committee held its target range of 3.5 to 3.75. So last FOMC, they held rates on an 8-4 vote. That is the 3rd hold in a row. Stephen Miran wanted a 25% cut, and then 3 others wanted supported the hold but rejected the easing bias language. So essentially, they're against being dovish. For dissenters, that matches 1992. So this essentially means this is the most divisive Fed meeting in over 3 decades, since 1992. So obviously something's cracking if people are disagreeing within the Fed. The statement itself was upgraded. So inflation, this is the wording in the FOMC statement, inflation moved from somewhat elevated to elevated. And remember, these tiny moves in words, they spend hours deciding what the wording should be. And for you, it might not seem like much going from somewhat elevated to elevated, but it's clearly saying inflation is elevated. Inflation is a problem, and they're directly linking it partially to the recent increase in global energy prices. And of course, energy prices have stayed up since that meeting. So again, it's worse today than they even imagined on the day. So that was added. Also, another sentence of uncertainty in the Middle East was added to the statement. When they add these lines, they spend hours deciding on it and they put it in. So obviously there is a certain concern at the Fed about everything going on around the world. Another line from Powell's press conference that matters most for tonight's read. This is what he said, and I quote, "The number of people on the committee who could support that language changed to a more neutral stance, so that a hike is as likely as a cut. That number has increased over the intermeeting period." That sentence is the live debate. The minutes will quantify how big that increased number actually is, how many people want a hike. We're going to see what the participants of the FOMC are saying about rate hikes, because remember, this is not in the hands of Jerome Powell, it's not in the hands of Warsh, it's in the hands of all the members. So let's go over quickly to the playbook, because this is what we're looking at. I'll zoom in onto each case. So a 65% chance that what we're going to get is the base case, meaning the market won't move too much, but we're going to understand a lot of information that will move the market over the next few weeks. That will be a hawkish hold. It's going to be a hawkish hold, and not too many people saying we need to hike rates straight away, and no one really calling for a rate cut. The hawkish hardening, there's a 25% chance of that. And again, if you have the cheat sheet, you can read through all of this before it came out. And this will be if many people flagged upside inflation as an issue and tariff pass-through described as broadening or persistent. If they make their wording within the minutes more hawkish, then again, this is when the S&P 500 could drop 1% to 1.5%. This is when Bitcoin could be forced towards closer to 70,000, 75,000. This is when XRP can retest 130. That's if it's a hawkish hardening. The base case is that we're just going to be chopping around for Bitcoin and the S&P 500. And then there's the dovish surprise, a 10% chance that several flagged downside risk to employment. This could be a scenario where the markets go up if we get that dovish wording. And how do we know if it's going to be dovish or not? Well, you have to look at the dovish phrase watch and the hawkish phrase watch, which is not there at the moment. Okay, so what I'm going to do is we're going to come back to the Warsh era. We're going to talk about Kevin Warsh in a second, but we're 18 seconds away from getting that news. So what we're going to go over to Bloomberg. I'm going to be analyzing behind the scenes. If you have just tuned in, please do hit that like button. Please do subscribe. Right now, Bloomberg is on a break. I'm going to even speed them up as fast as I can. There we go. Here we go. Let's go over to the breaking news. Let's see if they're going to
of 2026. It was back on April 28th and April 29th. It was Jerome Powell's last as Fed chair. Our Bloomberg economics team noting that the minutes will give more insight into the split rate hold decision and show, quote, many or even most participants saw a case for neutral language. Those minutes now just crossing. A redhead on the Bloomberg terminal, the Fed saying that many preferred removing easing bias from the statement. The Fed also saying the majority saw a hike likely warranted if inflation persists. The officials generally judge rate pause will be longer than previously thought. In Washington, D.C., Michael McKee is Bloomberg News Federal Reserve reporter. He is international economics and policy reporter. He's standing by for the latest. Hey, Mike.
Well, it does appear that the minutes of Jay Powell's last meeting as Fed chair show that members were more concerned about the possibility of a rate increase down the road than perhaps the markets were thinking. High energy prices contributing to inflation because of the Iran war, amid concerns the war could drag on long enough that inflation expectations become unmoored. While participants generally expected that tariff-driven inflation would ease during the course of the year, some noted tariffs could be increased, leading to additional upward pressure on prices. And given all that, almost all participants noted there was a risk that the conflict in the Middle East could persist for an extended period, or that even after the conflict ended, the prices of oil and other commodities could remain elevated for longer than expected. The vast majority noted inflation could take longer to return to target than they had previously expected. A majority of participants highlighted, the minutes say, that some policy firming would likely become appropriate if inflation were to continually run above the 2% target. To address this possibility, they continue, many participants indicated that they would have preferred removing the language from the post-meeting statement that suggested an easing bias. And remember, it was a 9-3 vote to remove that bias, but apparently a number of additional participants who weren't voters agreed with the 3 who wanted to take it out. Overall, the economy was performing well. The minutes say the labor market appeared stable, although uncertainty about the future outlook for the economy might have been holding down hiring. There was also an extended discussion of financial stability, with participants concerned about the possibility of losses in private credit that might lead to a broad credit contraction. A few worried about hedge fund participation in the Treasury market, noting that unwinding of leverage positions by those institutions could generate broader financial market pressures. And many mentioned concerns about cybersecurity. Tim and Emily?
My ears perked up when you said private credit. I mean, how unusual is it to see the central bank opining on a specific asset class?
Very weird,
in these
guys.
minutes? And do we have, I know you're just reading them right now, but do we have any more insights into more risks that they flagged on that sector?
We don't really have any more. It doesn't go into great detail about it. But remember, private credit's been in the news a lot, and there have been some funds that halted redemptions. And so there are questions about what that would mean. And so apparently members decided that they were going to discuss it, and they did express some concerns, perhaps more than we've normally heard, certainly from participants in the private credit space who say it's not a risk. Fed officials see that there perhaps could be something out there.
Hey, Mike, on the war, that got me thinking about what the Fed actually can do when it comes to a higher inflationary environment as a result of higher oil prices. It's not like the Fed can bring down oil prices. They can only tamp down demand. What does an extended period actually mean in Federal Reserve speak, and how it could affect rate policy?
Well, they don't specify, but it probably means months. And they're talking about more than just high energy prices. They're talking about high energy prices feeding into other parts of the economy and parts of the economy that perhaps use petroleum to make products or to deliver products, and that would push inflation expectations higher as a broader price increase started to affect Americans. And that's what they're particularly concerned about. And what they did seem worried about is that this conflict could, and so far has, lasted a lot longer than the administration suggested it would. And so as long as that continues, that increases the risk of the inflation expectations problem.
Michael McKee, Bloomberg TV and radio, international economics and policy correspondent, live at the Federal Reserve in Washington, D.C. Thanks for that, Mike. Well, now to the most anticipated IPO of the year, one of the most anticipated IPOs of the year.
Okay, there's a lot to digest there. We're going to be back with a full analysis. Let's just listen to OpenAI, which is planning to IPO potentially on Friday.
The Wall Street Journal reporting on OpenAI's IPO filing plans earlier on Wednesday. Reuters had reported in October that the IPO could value the company at as much as $1 trillion. I want to bring in Ed Ludlow, the co-host of Bloomberg Tech on Bloomberg TV. He joins us from our San Francisco bureau. Ed, we were going to talk to you about SpaceX at one point, today or this week. That's all we've been talking about. And then we see the news that OpenAI could be filing in the coming days. What else can you tell us?
Curious timing.
Is it because of?
Yeah.
Is it because of the lawsuit, or is it because of what SpaceX is doing? Are these? There's a lot of Elon tied up in this.
At Tidy Big Dog tipped £1.99 through Super
source
Chat.
at Bloomberg is saying that it's
Lucas's.
coming weeks. The Journal had said coming days. And there is a distinction between that in when you're filing. The net is OpenAI being in a position where it could be ready to IPO September. We had been much more firm in our reporting on Anthropic, that Anthropic was looking at October for an IPO, but very much framed in a race, right? So to answer your question, the overhang was the trial. Musk suing Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, and the other co-founder, Greg Brockman. And indeed, Bloomberg Intelligence has written about this in their research, right? Once the jury decided to reject Elon Musk's suit, even though Musk plans to appeal, it removed an overhang on the idea that OpenAI could move forward to a IPO, in part because of the potential financial penalty that Musk was pursuing.
Okay, what we're going to do, we're going to come back to the OpenAI IPO, because that is a big story, and it could be marking the top of this cycle. So let's go back to these FOMC minutes that just got released, and there's some major points. If we go over to the FOMC website, what you can do is you can see the minutes that have been published. Essentially, these are linked to the April 28th to 29th FOMC meeting, Jerome Powell's last meeting, but this is behind the scenes of what actually went on. So firstly, if I can ask everyone to please take 1 second to hit that like button. It's free. It takes 1 second. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. If you want all the coverage of these meetings, the cheat sheets, how to be trading them, how to understand them, the chart analysis course, the net worth tracker, how I'm going to be looking at the OpenAI IPO, we're running for the first 3 people the 40% discount on the newsletter. Remember, it's not just a newsletter. You get all the perks and benefits that come with the newsletter, including private Discord access as well. So with these minutes, what we're looking at is a few key points. One is that it's even more hawkish than the 8-4 vote. So 4 people dissented, and that is actually the most in 33 years. But the minutes actually say, specifically, many participants wanted the easing bias language removed. No one essentially at the Federal Reserve, apart from maybe 2 or 3 out of the 12 participants, want to talk about rate cuts. No one wants it anymore. That language is gone. They don't want it in there. They're expressing very clearly, let's stop talking about easing. And I expect in the next FOMC, that's going to happen. They're not going to be talking about rate cuts, even with Kevin Warsh. So again, many is suggesting somewhere between 7 and 10 people out of the 12 that are saying this. So the majority of them, maybe 2 or 3 people still want the easing language in there, but most of them want it removed. So that's even worse than the 8-4 vote we saw. So first things first, the first point is it's more hawkish than we first anticipated. Number 2, hikes are now officially in the discussion set. Here is a direct quote from these FOMC minutes that we've just received. A majority of participants highlighted that some policy firming would likely become appropriate if inflation were to continue to run persistent over 2%. Let me see if I can just highlight that for you. Let me go like this. I can't, it's not letting me highlight it. So let me just read that out for you once again. Essentially, let's put the background of Bloomberg for just 1 second, because there's no point having this on the screen if we can't read it. Let's go back to Mike Mickey for a second. We'll come back to Bloomberg in just a moment. Let me do that, and then I'll report on it. So, bear with me. Here we go. So, number 2, the hikes are now officially in the discussion set. So, the direct quote I'm looking at here is a majority of participants, so somewhere between 8 and 10 out of the 12 participants, they highlighted that some policy firming would likely become appropriate, essentially saying rate hikes will become appropriate if inflation were to continually run persistent above 2%. 2%, we're at 6% on PPI, we're at 4% on other metrics, 3.5% on PCE. We are running above 2%. That's just a nice way of them saying, guys, we're going to have rate hikes. And we should start talking about rate hikes because inflation is nowhere near 2%. In March, this was just some participants. So that this is meaningfully changed from some participants to many participants. And that, from some to a majority, that's a massive jump up. We're talking majority, we're talking about over half. So in March, it was some participants that wanted two-sided language. In April, it's a majority openly raising hikes. So let's go on to the third point. So firstly, it's more hawkish than the 8-4 split. It suggests it's actually more. Secondly, they want rate hikes to be next, essentially. Number 3, the de-anchoring scenario is now in the minute. So participants discussed a path where sustained energy prices and tariffs could result in inflation becoming embedded more broadly, potentially de-anchoring inflation expectations. De-anchoring is a worst case for the Fed right now. The fact that they're discussing it openly is a real shift from March. So now they're discussing openly a derailing of inflation. The saving grace is that long-term expectations are still stable for now. So they have said in their minutes that just got released, we think long-term inflation is going to come down to 2%. However, there is a chance that this does get derailed and we are going to see inflation higher for longer. Number 3, cuts are pushed out. They're not killed. So this is a bit dovish for those doves that are still here and still think rate cuts can happen. They can, and they didn't push them out fully. They didn't kill them. The Fed thinks current policy may need to stay for longer than previously anticipated. That's a direct quote, for longer than previously anticipated. The desk survey shifted cut expectations to Q3 or Q4 of 2026 and Q1 of 2027. Cuts still exist on paper, but the timeline is moving away from us. June is a hold, full stop. Okay, so guys, we're not going to get rate cuts. We're going to get a rate pause, and then there's some participants at the Fed that say the next decision will be a cut, as in the next rate decision will be a cut. And then this is the biggest point that was put in there that caught us all by surprise: private credit. We've been speaking about private credit on this channel for the last 6 months. Private credit defaults are a massive issue right now in the markets, and people aren't covering it enough. And to all our surprises, the Federal Reserve have thrown it in their minutes. So they're now saying they openly discuss a broad credit contraction scenario. Software-related loans are the epicenter of AI disruption. That's what we're worried about. A lot of these software companies that took out a lot of debt, AI can now essentially do what those companies were designed to do. A lot of people defaulting on those loans, and again, causing a private credit stability warning. And the Federal Reserve have put that in their minutes. So default rates right now look fine, but if you look at it underlying, they are very, very stressed. A lot of funds, major banks, major investment firms are not allowing you to cash in and withdraw your money from these private credit instruments. So they've actually put that into that. So again, I'm not bullish. We've just seen the minutes. We've just read through them. I've given you the main points from them. I'll continue to look at it. I'll give you a debrief on the newsletter. I'll send it out to you guys. But this is not looking good. Yes, the markets aren't going to react and crash because it wasn't worst case scenario. This is sort of what we expected, if not slightly worse than what we expected. The Bitcoin is, look, the markets don't focus on the minutes. They don't focus on the minutes, but the minutes really have been very kind to us, because over the last 3 months, we've been able to identify what the interest rate decisions will be over the next 6 months and what the Fed will be saying in their next meetings. And in their next meeting, even under the new Fed chair, Warsh, which we're going to talk about now, they are going to say, we are not cutting rates. They are going to say, even under Trump's new Fed chair, he is going to come out and say, we're not cutting rates. We're in no place to be cutting rates. That would be irresponsible of us to cut rates. Sorry, Donald Trump, we're not going to be cutting rates for you. That's what's going to be said. And again, this is what Warsh can actually do. So Kevin Warsh was confirmed 54 to 45 on May the 13th. So let me just talk about Warsh for a second. That was the most partisan vote for a Fed chair in history. For context, Powell was confirmed 84 to 13 in 2018 and 80 to 19 in 2022. So there was so much support for Jerome Powell, and many would say he's done a fantastic job given the circumstances under his terms under Trump. Kevin Warsh was very hard to be confirmed. He was 54 to 45 votes. Jerome Powell was 84 to 13 and 80 to 19. He was a much more popular Fed chair between the Republicans and the Democrats. But Kevin Warsh is looking to be sworn in this week, and his first FOMC is going to be the 16th to the 17th of June. So next month, we're going to be covering his FOMC, and that will be with fresh dot plots and a debut press conference. Now, let me talk to you about what Kevin Warsh can actually do. Can I ask, Kevin, we are very low on likes. What is going on? A lot of people are here and they haven't hit the like button. Please take 1 second to hit the like button. I will be answering your questions. Everyone in here is wondering about gold. We'll have a look at gold in the Q&A section. We'll come on to the Q&A shortly after we look at... we did cover my read as well. So we'll come back to Warsh, then talk about Nvidia charts and then Q&A. So... we'll talk about Kevin Warsh. So the retail misconception, and this is a big misconception right now in the market, is worth correcting, is that Trump replaces Powell, rates collapse. That's not what's going to happen. That's not how it works. The chair, Kevin Warsh, only has 1 vote of 12. The same as every other voting member. He doesn't have 5 votes, he's got 1 vote. But what he does control is agenda setting, drafting statement language, the public face role, and consensus building through moral suasion. What he cannot do is unilaterally cut rates, rewrite the 2% inflation target, which the FOMC reaffirmed unanimously in January, or fire dissenting regional presidents. The framework markets are pricing is QT for cuts. Accelerate balance sheet runoff to create room to lower the policy rate towards 3.25%. The CNBC Fed survey showed that 58% expect Warsh dovish on rates, but 65% hawkish on the balance sheet. That combination is internally tense. Lower rates needs ample liquidity. Aggressive quantitative tightening drains liquidity. The pre-bunk has already started. Governor Michael Barr on the 14th of May said shrinking the Fed's balance sheet is the wrong goal. That is a direct shot between Warsh even sits at Fed chair. So there's going to be a lot of internal disagreement. It looks like Kevin Warsh is going to come in. He's going to say, let's cut the Fed's balance sheet and do some more QT, not quantitative easing, a bit more tightening, release the assets of the Fed, and then he would like to cut rates, but most likely he will not have the opportunity to cut rates. And again, a bit most mainstream coverage misses is Powell is staying on as a governor until January of 2028. He's decided he's staying on. He will still have a vote. And by his own words, he plans to keep a low profile, but he has not left the building. Jerome Powell has decided to stay on. Voting dynamics through 2026 and 2027 are not as clean as the headline suggests. To push cuts through, Warsh has to flip at least 2 of the 3 regional hawks, Hammack, Kashkari, or Logan, or sway centrists like Williams or Cook. The chair gavel is not a remote control. So essentially, Kevin Warsh can come in, he can make a few policy decisions, but he cannot force rate cuts. So if you're expecting a new Fed chair and more rate cuts, that's out the picture. Today's Fed minutes that we've just covered have given me more confidence to say no rate cuts in 2026. And the most likely scenario right now is in 2027 to get rate hikes and inflation to continue being a big problem for the Federal Reserve. And the longer the Iran war goes on, the bigger the oil shock, that is also going to be a big problem for the Federal Reserve. And today we got confirmation that the Federal Reserve is worried about private credit markets. We've got a lot of people in the chat worried about gold. What is everyone trading gold today? What is going on? I am buying sell for sure. God, we've got so many people. Gold, 5% down, silver down. What is going on in the chat? Everyone's talking about gold. Everyone must be 100x leveraged on gold right now for some reason. We're not going to go through the full cheat sheet that is for the premium members. And let me see what else we've got on our agenda. Let's talk about Nvidia. Let's change it up a little bit and let's talk about Nvidia because we sent out a cheat sheet today on Nvidia as well. So that's wrapped up the minutes. So let me just take off that breaking news story for a second. No, that doesn't look. Let me type that in again. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so let's go over to sensei.news. Again, if you go to sensei.news, you can see all our recent articles, the most popular articles. And again, up here, you can go to different sections, the morning forecast, the portfolio challenge, the week ahead. Let's go over to the cheat sheet and let's go over to this morning's morning forecast, which had the Nvidia cheat sheet. Because next, we're going over to the Nvidia earnings. Let's see if that is Martyn set that up. Let me ask, because we're going to be covering the Nvidia earnings tonight. So, Nvidia is going to decide the direction of the market. If the market's going to pump and we're going to continue into a bull market, Nvidia is going to lead it. If the market is going to crash and we're going to go into a bear market and we're going to see an AI bubble burst, Nvidia is going to lead it. So either way we go, Nvidia is the king of the market. Just like Bitcoin's the king of the crypto market, Nvidia is the king of risk on in the stock market. I'm not talking about defense position. I'm talking about the stock market, the main stock market, which is right now all being fueled by AI. Nvidia is the leader. Nvidia is the king of the risk on stock market right now. So that's why the earnings are very important. Since you can tell me if XCN is worth investing in, please. I don't really look at altcoins during a bear market. There's no point. They're just going to bleed against Bitcoin. I've been saying that for the last 12 months. This way, gaming, no one's, they only care about gold. Says this one. I don't know why they care about gold. Please be patient and stay out of the noise, says JJ April. Will the crash last long? I don't know when the crash will come, but when it comes, it can certainly last a very long time. So, the most watched print of the quarter lands today. The press release crosses around 4:20 p.m. Eastern time. So let me just have a look at that time on the screen. So we're looking at about 2 hours before the Nvidia earnings are released. And the conference call kicks off at 5 p.m. Eastern time. So that's in about 2.5 hours. Nvidia closed last week at an all-time high of $236. Yeah, we had an all-time high on Friday last week, and now it's slipped back to $222 heading into these earnings. About 6% of last week's gains are already gone before management has spoken a word. So let's just talk about where the company is right now. Let me just check. Has anyone taken advantage of the discount we're running right now? It's only the first 3 people, so let me see. I've got a way of checking, so let me just quickly check. No, no one has. Let me just quickly tell everyone about the newsletter because I'm surprised no one's taking advantage of it. If you are a market participant, if you are investing in the markets, if you are wanting to be more informed, a better trader, by understanding more tools in your toolbox, what we've done is we've created Sensor.news. Not only is it a newsletter, it gives you access to so much more than just a normal newsletter. So what you do get is every single morning, before the opening bell, you get all the top stories. Everything you need to know about what's going on in the markets, you get there. If there is a story big enough, we do a deep dive on that story. We give you the chart of the day. Like today, we've given you the Nvidia earnings, plus the charts for Nvidia, plus the full daily brief. The number that matters is a big thing, the one big thing. So you get that every single trading morning. And again, there's no ads, there's no political narrative, there is no corporate sponsors that will tell me how to write these newsletters. We write it. We spend 4 hours researching every single morning for that morning newsletter, but it's in a very concise, easy to read. I know some people don't like reading, just like me, but it's very concise and you get to see the top headlines straight away. So just for that reason alone, you should sign up. And again, you can sign up for free as well. So if anyone says, okay, I can't afford it right now, well, there is a free plan. If you still click on that link and go free, you can sign up for free and get those daily briefings as well. Number 2, you get macro event cheat sheets. So I'm talking about earnings calls, FOMC minutes, FOMC days, CPI, PPI, anything that's going to move the market based on a piece of data that's going to move the global stock market. We will be giving you a cheat sheet so you can understand the event and understand what will mean the market will go up or down. And we put some charts in there for you. So you get those cheat sheets. You get the chart training course. I spent 6 months developing it. That's me, 8 years in the markets, understanding every chart course, understanding every different way of trading, understanding all the scenarios, then going away and doing 6 months of academic research on what actually works, putting it all together in a 3-hour video course for you to watch, and that's included in the newsletter. You get the chart training course, everything you need to know about technical analysis, and again, it's actually very simple. So if you know a bit about charts, if you know nothing about charts, or if you know a lot about charts, it is very important you go watch that. Plus, you get the 3 premium-only trading view indicators that have been absolutely incredible. I mean, if we're looking at Nvidia right now, if you're looking at any chart, it works absolutely brilliant. But I looked at Nvidia this morning when I was doing the charts for it, and those indicators, the signal it gave me was incredible. So if I just show you Nvidia on the 1 day. Again, the green triangle on this indicator, was it Nvidia I was looking at? Let me just go over to the trigger alert. Yeah, look at this. It flipped green on the trigger alert, which is sort of the shorter time frame, at 178. That went up 33% in 35 days on that trigger alert. And again, if you're looking at other markets as well, if you look at Bitcoin, it flipped green at 67,000 and went up 22% in 35 days. I mean, it's done it on all markets. On XRP, when last time we flipped green, and again, you can choose when you take your profits, but it went up about 10% in 10 days on that. And again, it's done it on the S&P 500, the safest asset class there. You see it went green there, and now it's up 10% in 41 days on just the trigger alert. And again, that's a short-term indicator. If you go to the momentum band, you can see different angles if you're a medium-term investor, short-term investor, or long-term investor. We've got 3 indicators. And again, that's included in the newsletter. I shouldn't call it a newsletter. The newsletter is just one part of it. You get the chart training course, the premium trading view indicators. You get the £5,000 portfolio challenge. Big update coming soon in my portfolio. What I'm doing with the $5,000, where we're at now, and what I'm investing in. And I've been speaking to Michael Burry behind the scenes just today. You get a special app developed just for you. The net worth tracker is only for you. I'm not selling this to anyone else. It's not available online. It's just for the premium members. And again, it tracks your net worth. You can put your debts in. You can put your income in. You can talk about when you want to retire. You can forecast things going forward. You can forecast your debt. You can see how to pay off your debt. Again, no ads, no data. You store it on your own device, and that's included as well. And again, you get access to the private Discord community as well, specific channels in the Discord you get access to, and again, one-on-one DMs. Plus, we're always adding things. So if you don't have it right now, the first 3 people get 40% off their first year. So the link is in the live chat. If you haven't got it yet, go and grab it. There is also a free plan as well, but right now the first 3 get a 40% discount. So let's go back to Nvidia, because that's what is happening next. It's lovely to see some familiar faces in the chat, even though there's a lot of people talking about gold. do say hi in the chat so I can see which of our members are here today. We might go over to members only mode as well. Let's see who is here. Just reading through this. Yeah, newsletter. Someone's just said newsletter is amazing. Thank you very much. Yeah, I mean, we try our best with it. We're always trying to add more. I mean, the value of the newsletter works out to about 30 cents a day if you take that offer. And you get a lot more than 30 cents a day worth of information. Happy to see everyone here on this lovely afternoon, says JJ April. Only real investors don't talk about gold, says the ways through gaming. Oh, Tiny Big Dog is here. JJ April is here. Slim Will UK is here as well. Lovely to have him here. 1978 Buckley present and accounted for. I'm loving to see all the members in the chat right now. We're getting ready for Nvidia earnings, so let's go over to this, turn that off, and go over to Nvidia. Present and accounted for. Oh, Zach Zate is here. Lovely to have Zach Zate here as well. I'm just keeping an eye on the live chat as well. So a little refresher. What's Nvidia? Well, Nvidia, we hear it a lot, but do you know what they actually do? Nvidia designs and sells the chips that train and run model AI systems. Currently, they're selling Blackwell, and that is in full volume production. Their next one is called Vera Rubin. Started sampling earlier this year, and it's ramping up production in the second half of 2026. Everyone wants the Nvidia chips. Or actually, there's a few companies now coming up with more specific chips that some people prefer, but Nvidia still definitely runs the chip industry, and everyone loves the Nvidia chips. Everyone wants the Nvidia chips. 55 minutes ago they started, says Human Being Liz. What do you mean 55 minutes ago they started? Oh, Human Being Liz says, oh, you're online. Yes, I'm here, Human Being Liz. Did you not see the newsletter? Did you not see the notification? Oh, Kevin is back.
At Hovu 4773 tipped 50,000 through Super Chat. Welcome back, Lucas Aids. Kevin is back on stage, from Vietnam with Universal Loves.
Lovely to have you back, Kevin. Thank you so much for the super chat. It's a great support of the show. Kevin is here. Yes, John. Lovely to have Kevin back. Okay, so yeah, everyone wants the Nvidia chips. 4 reporting segments exist, but only one matters. Data centers. Their money comes from data centers. We hear about gaming, we hear about automotive, but that all makes up less than 10%. Data centers is where up to 91% of their total last quarter revenue came from. $62.3 billion. That's 91% of their revenue was made from data centers. Yes, people use them for gaming, visualization, automotive, but all of that put together is only 10%. So we really care about data centers. And if you look at the 4 largest hyperscalers, that's Alphabet, Amazon, Meta, and Microsoft, they make up just over half of data center revenue. And their combined 2026 capital expenditure is on track to approach $700 billion. So their customers are essentially 4 companies because they make up over 50%. That's Google, Amazon, Meta, and Microsoft. If they stop spending money on Nvidia, Nvidia is not generating a lot of money. So we want to make sure that their orders are staying up and they're still continuing to spend a lot of money. The economy is allowing them to spend a lot of money, but if we do go into a recession and a downturn, maybe they won't be focused on growth. They'll be focused on surviving. The biggest development since the last report of Nvidia, remember we're talking about Nvidia earnings call now, is that the US cleared roughly 10 Chinese firms to buy the H200 chips under a licensing structure that routes 25% of revenue to the US Treasury. No ships have actually shipped yet. So that is the biggest development, that they are now allowed to sell to Chinese firms the H200 chips, but that does mean 25% of that revenue has to go over to the US Treasury. So we'll see if we hear a bit more about that in the earnings. Cool. Let me just make this a bit NVI. I'm just going to change the title of this section. Nvidia. That will help. Can you guys, especially the members, can you guys let me know if you're looking at all of this going on the sides? Do you prefer it the rundown so you know exactly where we are, what we're talking about? Essentially, you can see what we're talking about, what we're on now. Again, you can see your time zones at the top, so you know we're live. And normally we have a countdown here until the breaking news story. And again, that breaking news story has finished. So we've talked about FOMC minutes. I can remove that in a little bit. And again, at the bottom, you've got a scrolling tick of all the news going into this event. So do you prefer the setup? Just say yes or no in the chat, especially the members who watch us all the time. Let me just go over to your comments. I will have another scene so I can put the comments on the screen as well. In fact, I can probably do that now if I just duplicate this. Let's see if we can have another scene where essentially this turns into... That might work. There we go. Now we've got the live chat there as well. Yeah. Okay, let's see what you guys are saying. Yes, it looks good. Oh, good. Thank you. Looks great, says JJ at Bullyo. NTD says yes. What time is the FOMC meeting in Eastern Standard Time? So we've just covered the FOMC minutes. It's just happened. We've already covered it. You can scroll back and you can see the countdown and watch our reaction. Yes, it's great, says Tybor. Oh, thank you, guys. Okay, everyone said yes. There's not a no. Let me end the poll as well. We're going to talk about Nvidia and then do some charts and answer your questions in just a second. Let me add a new poll. That's the poll that's just ended. How are you positioned going to the FOMC meeting? Fully bullish is 41%. Fully bearish. Oh, big divide. Some people are fully bullish. Some people are fully bearish. There's no one really in the middle. Fully bullish or fully bearish. I'm just always bullish, but always cautiously long. So no, well, right now I'm cautiously long. Most of the time I'm pretty bullish. Right now I'm cautiously long. So the majority of my portfolio is locked away, and that's just in low cost index funds. Actually slowly going into bonds there as well. And then my actively traded portfolio is mostly in cash, but now I'm looking for opportunities in case we do crash. So always bullish on the markets, but more bearish than I normally am. Start a poll. Do you own NVDA? Yes. No. Let's see. Do you guys own Nvidia going into this earnings report? Will this earnings affect all tech? Yes, it will. Yes, it will, essentially. So even if you don't own Nvidia, but you own other tech companies, it certainly will affect all tech companies. We all have a blip, but we are here for each other, says Tidy Big Dog. What's happened? Who had a blip? What happened? Chris says, yes, love that idea, especially if I can connect and know you will talk soon about something interesting to me. Yeah, defense. And you can always go back, so especially if you miss a live stream, you can always go back and you can very easily see what we're talking about. We sold Nvidia too soon, Lol says, this way is gaming. I'm still holding Nvidia. Why did you sell your Nvidia? Fran Sevilla, multiple rate increases coming. In fact, I'm probably selling Nvidia today. Multiple rate cuts incoming. France Villa says multiple rate. Multiple. I don't know. Nothing's really going to happen majorly in 2026. We're looking at 2027 for to see. Maybe we get one decision this year, but probably not. Joke. Profit is profit. Profit is profit. Profit is profit. Staying in the game is also good. XRP to $10 as my prediction. XRP to $10. Yeah, just not right now. Once it breaks, the next leg up could certainly take crypto to. If we get an altcoin season, we can. XRP managed to go to $3.20 without an altcoin season, which is very impressive. So all we need is an altcoin season anchor cert to go to $5, $10. Some of the other targets we had earlier.
At TH1 Suede 3th Gaming tipped $1 through Super Chat.
Thank you, this way gaming. You can always leave a comment and we can read it out. Will this earnings affect all tech? Yes. Human being Liz, I've literally answered your question about 4 times. I've scrolled back. I've said it 4 times. How many times do you skip my question? Liz, what are you on about? I've answered your question about 4 times. I said yes, it's going to affect all tech. I've said it about 4 times. Same here. Cautiously long, says defensive. Yeah, nice. Yeah, I'm cautiously long. Sold all my Nvidia weeks ago to buy Coca-Cola, says DJ Haynes. Good luck to you. I know Martyn's done something similar as well. Oh, actually, Martyn's, I think now all in. He still owns Coca-Cola here, but apart from that, he's in bonds or US Treasuries. Okay, so let's talk about Nvidia for a second. So let's go to the screen here. What Wall Street expects. So yeah, so if you have just tuned in and you're confused, let me just explain something to you. FOMC minutes, we've just covered it. We read through it. We gave you the main points. You can always scroll back and listen into it. We're just now getting prepared from the Nvidia earnings and doing a few charts and some Q&A. So if you want to scroll back, see what we said about the minutes. Essentially nothing major, but certainly more it's certainly a hawkish minutes. It's not looking good at the Federal Reserve. And a lot of sort of potential change under Warsh, but definitely no rate cuts even under Warsh. Let's go to Bloomberg, see what they're talking about.
Bitcoin up 0.6%. Bitcoin at 77.
Going through the watch list. So, what is Wall Street expecting for today's Nvidia earnings? The Wall Street consensus on revenue, and again, the Street consensus matters because if it underperforms what Wall Street already expects, Wall Street has already priced it into stock. So if we get revenue at 78.8 billion, stock won't move much. If we get it below that, then the stock will go down. If we get above that, the stock will rally. That's on very simple terms, not taking into account everything else. But revenue is certainly one of the most important parts of the Wall Street of Nvidia's earnings. The main thing that we will that the headlines will show is revenue. That's the first thing everyone looks at. So Nvidia guided about 7.8% plus or minus 2%. The Wall Street's expecting about 79 billion, and that's year on year 78% up. Again, this is sort of a cheat sheet for those members. If you do want to cross-reference this to when it actually drops, you can certainly easily do that. Nvidia's own Q1 guidance of 78 billion was already 5 billion above its consensus was issued, one of the widest guides above street gaps in mega cap history. So the biggest single quarter sequential revenue step up Nvidia has ever guided. So their guidance is massive. Their guidance, what they guided was big. They essentially, the guidance was, the increase in guidance was from 68 billion to 78 billion. That is the biggest guidance increase step up that Nvidia has ever guided. So that's what we're going into this with. So they have a lot to deliver, especially when they put their guidance up that much. They need to deliver on it, or the market won't trust what they have to say. The first report under the new China, this is something else. This is the first earnings report since the new China deal. The stock is up 20% in the last month, so the upside is essentially already priced in. Any new, any Vera Rubin commentary, that's their new chip, resets 2027 estimates on the spot. And the first full quarter where Megacap has carried a 5 trillion plus tag. So this is the first time where we're looking into this earnings when Nvidia's market cap is above 5 trillion. So quite a few different things going into this earnings, especially when it's priced for perfection. What will move the stock? Data center. So data center revenue versus the $73 billion bar. Several brokers are above 75 billion. Below 72 billion signals Blackwell supply problems. Above 76 billion reopens the upside narrative. So we are looking at a tight range. The bar is $73 billion for data center revenue. And again, data center is their biggest part of their revenue. About 91% of their revenue comes from data centers. The bar is 73 billion. If it's below 72 billion, then the market's going to look and say, okay, there's problems because they're not selling enough. or they're not producing enough to sell. And if it's above 75 billion, then the market will definitely like that. Q2 guidance versus the 86.6 billion consensus. So the consensus is 86.6 billion. This is the single most important number in the whole release. So their guidance, what they're going to be doing in the future, is more important than what they did today. So their guidance telling us what they think is going to happen in the future is going to be the most important point. I'm just looking at Liz's comments. Might you talk too fast? I'm just trying to see if you let me go over to the scene. I'm trying to answer human being Liz's question. Thanks. No. When will the possible to see Powell speech? Powell will not have a speech. And JJ Abel, yes, own Nvidia average is $82. Congratulations. Hey up, Banana Heads, Vaz is here. Sorry if I talk too fast, Liz. I tried to repeat it. Hopefully you understand now. Just tuned in, says Vaz. Lovely to have you here, Vaz. Human being Liz, me slow. No worries, Liz. Apoco Acopolis now says, how do I get the trading view indicators? How do you get those trading view indicators? They are actually incredible. Again, you put it together with a few things, but these indicators have kept me on the right side of trade so many times. And there's so many opportunities that I look at a chart and go, how did I miss it? So you can put it on any of your favorite stocks, any of your favorite crypto. And you're asking how you get it. Very easy. You have to be one of the 3 people that get it today. Those trading view indicators are only for the premium members. If you're already a premium member, jump into Discord, send me open up a ticket and say, add me to the trading view indicators, or go on Substack, open a private message with me and say, can you add me to the trading view indicators? All you need to do is just send me your username on TradingView. I will give you access to those 3 private trading view indicators. So very easy. As soon as you're signed up, you get access to Discord. You can just send me a message there or send me a private DM on Substack and I can onboard you. All you have to do is sign up to the newsletter. There's a 40% discount in the live chats. Vaz, what's good? Oh, buddy, love. Defense says, how's your portfolio now? It's way more than 5k. Yeah. Where's my phone? We've got some big updates on the portfolio challenge. How do I bring it up? I can't bring it up on the screen, but there'll be a post going out. And yeah, you are right. It is way more than 5k now. How are we doing? I don't actually even check it every day because we're so confident in our investments. Yeah, we're certainly up. I'll give you an update in the newsletter shortly. Maybe I'll write it, release it on Monday. There's just a few extra positions I want to add. And of course, we've added to our cash position as well. Apocalypse now says, I am a subscriber. Oh, you are a subscriber. Are you a premium subscriber, Apocalypse now? Are you a premium subscriber? Are you on Discord? Let me know. Huang says, I think tech sources nowadays in value as a resource go up day by day. Yes, Kevin. Bitcoin to $100 still possible. Heat it up. Bitcoin to $100? What do you mean? Tidy Big Dog says, there's nothing wrong with copper and rare earth. The future is coming. Yes. Heads up. Your 30% investment in tech, the safest way when oil prices are unstable. I just asked in general. Kevin, thanks. Nvidia. Is it good for gold? Is what good for gold? What is your idea of price XRP by the end of 2026? Well, the simplest way to answer these questions is just go to what the market is pricing in. So if we go over to Polymarket, I mean, we're not expecting anything massive in 2026. XRP, see what the market's pricing in. Yes, there's always a mismatch and it's never going to go to what the market priced in, but you can see where it's not going. Let me type in XRP 2026. What price will XRP hit in 2026? Well, the market is saying that there's only a 24% chance we're going to go above $2.60. So a quarter, there's only a 24% chance we're going to see $2.60. And then if you're looking at all-time highs, there's only a 10% chance we go above $3.60. So a very small chance that we actually break all-time highs in 2026. That's what's priced into the market right now. So I wouldn't be looking for all-time highs right now. Again, if you put $10 on that, you get 64. which is better than holding XRP really. So you can always hedge your positions in different ways. Again, I don't recommend gambling. I don't use Polymarket to gamble. I use it for different strategies I have in my investment portfolio. For example, when we did oil, we did some major gains on oil by buying some contracts on Polymarket. So yeah, a good way to gauge it. It's not. And here we go. We can go even higher. But above $5 is 7%. Above $4, 26%. So there is a chance, but it's very small. Very small. Where would I see it in 2026? I don't see it going above all-time highs this year. Again, the good thing about charts is we can reevaluate if a breakout happens, if the things change, then we will reevaluate and we can reposition. But right now, I'm not looking at all-time highs for XRP this year. Let's go back to your comments and then we'll continue with the Nvidia coverage. I mean 100K, sorry. 100K what? Sorry. Oh, 100K, sorry. Okay, 100,000 for Bitcoin this year. Thank you, Kevin. Your indicator. Yes, you can. My private indicator, we developed it through academic research, through the training course, and that we released it. We created it. We released it again, based on moving averages. It's just much simpler than trying to add 20 moving averages to your chart. You know exactly which ones work best. So yeah, you can get it. How? By being a premium newsletter member, you get it. Penny says, I've sent you a PM in Discord. I would like the indicators. Penny. Did you open a ticket? Penny, you sent me a PM. I normally don't do private messages on, and you haven't sent me anything. I don't do private message on Discord. You can send me a PM on Substack just because there's less scammers there. Or if you are as a premium member, you get access to the Discord channel. And once you go in there, you can create a ticket. Penny, I don't know where you've sent me this. I'm worried you might be talking to a scammer. Where have you sent me? Penny Harris, I PM you in Discord. I don't see any private messages and I don't see any tickets opened. When is the meeting? The meeting has concluded. If you scroll back into the show, you can see it. What is it for gold? What is it for gold? The chances for gold this year. I don't know if they have one for gold. They might do. Gold 2026. Will Bitcoin up from gold in 2026? I don't think there's a simple one for gold this year. They do it on a month-to-month basis, but they didn't do it for Nvidia falling. Let's have a look at Nvidia. NVDA. Yeah, it's still up on the day though. We've got the charts for Nvidia. So if you're interested in Nvidia, go to this morning's forecast we sent out. Scroll to the bottom, you've got all the charts for Nvidia.
A Darren Dunaway FB1 Wise tipped $5 through Super Chat. I'm not downing any project, but why is Casper so hyped up? Just curious.
Look, I don't know. I don't. I'm so out of the altcoin market. I don't like. Obviously, I still hold some altcoin positions, but ever since the bear market, we called the bear market, I've just not been interested in altcoins because all they're ever going to do is they're going to bleed against Bitcoin until an altcoin season arrives. And yes, every other day there's going to be one altcoin that goes up 100%, but it's probably just going to bleed. And if you look at Casper, yes, it was hyped up at one point early. I mean, if you got in early, it's one of the coins that actually did do well in 2023, 2024. We made some money off it. We also lost some money on Casper. Well, I did because I didn't sell it. But it's not my main position. Why do they get hyped up? Because people hype things up, spend money on advertising and whatever. Is it doing something good? I don't know. I haven't looked into it. Is it going to survive the bear market? Who knows? Probably it is, and probably will come back strong. But I don't know enough about the project to tell you about it. I appreciate the super chat. I wish I could tell you more. But it was hyped up, and sometimes once one person hypes up, the next person will hype it up as well. So I don't know. I sent in the part, it says Sensei on Discord. Oh, is your name Far? Okay, you didn't private message me there. Penny, you haven't private messaged me. Penny Harris, if you want those private trading view indicators, and this goes for anyone else who might have subscribed to the newsletter today or subscribed before. If you haven't subscribed and you want the indicators on the chart, for example, if you're looking at, you can put it on any chart. And again, it went bearish in September 2024. It saved you 70%. It called that. So even in these downwards trends, this indicator still made money. Anyway, if you want these three indicators, what you can do, let's just have a look at the deep trend. Yeah, this has been bearish ever since December of 2024. Yeah, all the indicators have been bearish on this. Again, some of the indicators will allow you to trade them throughout a downtrend. What was I talking about? Yeah, if you want the three indicators, you have to be a newsletter premium subscriber. It's one of the perks you get for being a newsletter premium subscriber, plus all the other perks out on the screen right now. How do you do it? Well, you can get a 40% discount today. The link is in the live chat. Once you've got it, you can get onboarded to Discord. And what that means is you join the Discord, you give your email, we verify you're a premium member. If you are a premium member, you get access to Discord. I don't want you to put it on a chat that's available to everyone, because that your trading view indicate your email address and your trading view username. I don't want that to be leaked to everyone. So what you can do is, if you're on Discord and you want to message me that way, you can open a ticket. So Penny, I've just tagged you in that chat you've sent me, and I'm going to give you direct link to the open ticket. So I'm going to type in tickets. So if you open a help ticket, Penny, this is directly to you and anyone else. If you open a help ticket, just type in your email address that you use for the Substack, so I can verify you're a premium member, and also the trading view username, and then I can onboard you. So if Penny, if you can do that right now, send me your email address so I can. You haven't even been upgraded on Discord yet. If you're a premium member, I can give you access to the extra channels. Or alternatively, if no one wants to be on Discord, or if there's a reason you can't be on Discord, you can also private message me on Substack.
At Hovu 4773 tipped 50,000 through Super Chat. Privacy assets in crypto looks more healthy. I'm investing in Monero, XMR.
Yeah, privacy coins have, last time I checked, have been definitely been performing much better than the rest. What did you say? XMR. Monero, yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a lot stronger.
At Diesel_Ada tipped $1.99 through Super Chat. Micron a good or sell, sir? Is the nappy fund okay?
Let's have a look at Micron. Let me just answer the previous super chat. So we were going to come on to Q&A, but it seems like we've already come on to Q&A. The Monero. Yeah, Kevin, you're dead on. Look, it's in an uptrend. It's clearly in an uptrend. Yes, it's swinging up and down, but it's in an uptrend. It put in a new all-time high in 2026. How many altcoins have actually managed to do that? Not many. Probably just Bitcoin. I mean, Ethereum did, an XRP kind of hit a double top from 2017. But Monero has, and Monero has been an uptrend. The lows are the higher. So yeah, Monero has been definitely performing better, and that does give an indication that maybe privacy coins have endured a better cycle, and that they are a bit more popular. So looks great. Congratulations to you. Micron, it's still a good or sell, sir? It's the nappy fund. Okay, the nappy fund could always do with topping up. Micron, is it a good or sell, sir? Micron, let's have a quick look. Micron Technology. Oh, Jesus Christ. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that. You just look at these charts and you just wonder how much money has flown into this stock, how much manipulation is needed for this to rise so much. I mean, there was so much insider trading recorded before this pump. So again, I apologize for that's just a straight up. How do you know what Sensei, are you live right now? Yes. Someone just asked if I'm live right now on Discord. Yes. Micron. So when do you sell? I don't know. I don't know. it's impossible. Can these things continue to go high? Yes. Should you sell? I don't know. I mean, if you're planning to hold it for a long time, then maybe it continues going higher. A lot of people sell these stocks too early. So some people would have sold at 200, 400. But are you selling it too early now? Well, it depends what you think. I don't think it's too early anymore. There's a big risk of people selling their winners too early. Now, with stocks that go up, I'm more hesitant to sell, and you should be too. More hesitant to sell stocks that are up than stocks that are down. Why? Well, because stocks that go up are most likely going to continue to go up, and stocks that go down are most likely to continue to go down. So if anything, you add money to positions that go up, and you sell the stocks that go down. Now that sounds weird and wrong, but if you look at the facts, stocks that go up are the stocks that will continue to go up, and that happens time and time again. And people sell their losers too early. So I don't want to start saying, okay, sell your position. You've made a great profit. You have made a great profit, probably, if you got into the stock in the last few weeks. But it's also gone up too fast, and at some point it will come back down. The question is, do you sell in time? What I like to do in these situations, if I am up on a stock or crypto, 100% I keep it. 200, 300, I keep it running. If I do go up, I don't know, 300%, 400%, then I do start selling, but not all of it. I certainly get my seed money out, maybe at 300% up, and then I start taking profits at maybe 400% up. So this is, and if you're looking at major market cap like 822 billion, maybe you reduce those percentages. Maybe you sell your seed at 50% up and you start taking profits at 200% up. But look, there is no technical analysis you can do on this. The only thing you can do is you can have your indicators running, and once it breaks below indicators, then you know the trend is changing. The trend is still towards the upside. I'll be hesitant to sell all of my position, but I can understand I would probably sell some of my position at this point.
A Darren Dunaway FB1 Wise tip $10 through Super Chat. I just wanted to hear that Super Chat noise. Let's go.
I love it. Thank you. I love it. Well, you can hear that Super Chat noise as many times as you like. If anyone else wants to hear the Super Chat noise, all you have to do is send a Super Chat and you can hear the wonderful noise. Thank you, Darren. Here's a few more noises for you. Darren, I appreciate it. So yeah, there's Micron. God knows how high it will go, but look, if we're bearish on the AI sector, which I'm slightly am over the next couple of years, I would certainly lock in some profits, but not all of my profits, because the winners normally tend to continue to win. But this has already won quite a lot, so I wouldn't mind taking some profits. Hopefully that helps, and you understand what I'm saying. So we are supposed to be talking about Nvidia, so let's go back to Nvidia. So Nvidia earnings are starting. Martyn's set up his live stream. His live stream starts in half an hour, and then we go straight into the Nvidia earnings. So what we're looking at is data center revenue. That's the biggest part. The biggest thing that will move the markets is the guidance. How high above 86.6 billion is it going to be, and is it going to be at consensus, or is it going to be lower? That's what's going to move the market. Oh, Kevin, another one. I love it.
At Hovu 4773 tipped 50,000 through Super Chat. Wow, cryptocurrency pendle seems to be my next asset portfolio.
Cryptocurrency pedal? What's that? I'm just sending this link to someone because I don't think they've found the show. Let me just send it to cryptocurrency pendle seems to be my next asset portfolio. Pendle. Never heard of it. Pendle. Okay, yeah, certainly a coin. Market cap is quite low. Oh, Kevin, I wish I could tell you more about this. I don't know anything about it. Good luck to you. The chart doesn't seem horrific. It doesn't seem like a horrific stock. But again, everything is going to bleed to Bitcoin right now. And I look forward to seeing this crypto at $100. So good luck to you, Kevin. And maybe once the altcoin season is about to start, we will start looking at altcoins more on this channel. But right now, it just doesn't seem appropriate for me. Okay, so let's continue. Let's just give you my final thoughts about the Nvidia earnings. Just a few more things we're looking at. So again, guidance is important. The data center revenue is important. Non-GAAP gross margin around the 75 to 76% band. A slip below 74% raises questions about Blackwell yields and Rubin transitioning pricing. What they talk about China, exactly because we're getting very close to when the launch of the Rubin chip should be. So we need to hear more about that. Again, any delays in that? I mean, that's the biggest thing I'm worried about today. Them talking about delays about Rubin and why is this not loading? And their guidance on Rubin and any delays specifically with their new chip. So we'll keep an eye on that within the earnings. And what I'm actually going to do is a lot of this Martyn's going to go through. So I'm not going to go through all of it. There's a lot in this cheat sheet. So and a lot of it is reserved for our premium members. So we've got a few different scenarios on what could happen. Again, if you're looking at how the stock has reacted previously, every single quarter they have beat, every single earnings per share they have beat, and every single guidance they have raised. And even in those situations, last time we saw Nvidia drop 8% after such a great earning. So imagine if it's not a beat. Imagine if the revenue doesn't beat. Imagine if the EPS doesn't beat. Or imagine if the guidance isn't raised. That's what happens when guidance is raised, revenue is beat, and earnings per share is beat. The stock goes down. Imagine if they don't beat, they don't raise. We're priced for perfection. But if you're looking at polymarket odds, we are looking at a 96% chance that they do beat quarterly earnings. Analyst ratings currently are still all buy, overweight, outperform, buy, overweight, buy, and then Deutsche Bank is the only one with hold. All targets are ranging between $250 and $350. Currently, Nvidia is sat at currently it's down a little bit. It's down at 222. So the targets are way above where we are right now. I'm surprised so few own Nvidia. Let me have a look at the poll. Yes, 75% of you don't own Nvidia. How is that possible? How have you missed the Nvidia boat? Yeah, that's maybe you sold too early. I don't know. You should always look, even if you're holding the S&P 500. Maybe people don't. Maybe you thought I meant individual holdings. I'm sure a lot of people own the S&P 500, VUG, or anything like that. That holds Nvidia, and you're probably holding in your pension funds as well. Diesel Raider, I love it.
At Diesel_Raider tipped $1.99 through Super Chat. Sensei, Martyn, Vaz and KC are the best. Fafo.
Thank you very much. Really do appreciate it. Let's continue. Did anyone take advantage of the offer? Let me just check again. Oh, yeah, there's only 2 spots left. And again, Martyn's going to have this code as well. So if you haven't got it yet, there is the offer, the 40% offer for the newsletter. The person who has subscribed, let me know who you are in the chat. Say it's me. And let's get you onboarded onto Discord as well, because then you can take advantage of all the perks. We can give you the trading view indicators, the chart training course, and everything. We can get you onboarded straight away. So that's what the analysts are saying. Everyone is buying this, and everyone has high targets for it. I'm not going to go through all of this because I know Martyn's going to be covering the cheat sheet, so I don't want to cover most of the cheat sheet. And again, we do have the charts to watch with all 3 of the indicators in that newsletter. So if you want to get ahead of the game, then here is the link directly to that newsletter. If you click on it, again, you can sign up for free or become a premium member. If you want to see these charts and the NVIDIA cheat sheet, then of course you have to be a premium member. But you can read through it before the earnings start. The link is there. That's the morning forecast. We put it in the deep dive. So let me move on from Nvidia. We know what we're looking for. We know what can't happen. And I'm sure Martyn will give us a lot more insights when his show starts in the next 20 minutes, I believe. Let me check. Yeah, 20 minutes time. So let's do charts and Q&A. If you want to do a super chat, we will do your chart. So any chart request for any super chat,
A Darren Dunaway FB1 Wise tipped $5 through Super Chat. Where the Super Chats at people.
Darren, thank you very much. Hopefully they come in now. We're going to do chart requests. So we haven't done this in a while. If anyone wants a chart request, we can look at it with some of our indicators as well. You can do a $5 super chat, a $2 super chat, $10, $50, $100. You can do whatever super chat you like. Or if you have any questions you want answered, you can throw them in a super chat or ask them in the chat. And we will get through as many as we can. We've got 10 minutes to get through all of this before we go through to Martyn's stream. So you can do any super chat for any chart, any questions as well. Members can ask questions as well. So I'll wait for if any come in. Maybe I'll just be sat here and doing none. We will see. Thank you, Darren, for your super chat. You could have put in a ticker symbol there, and we could have done a chart request. While we wait, let's look at some of our top stories from today in the newsletter. Of course, Nvidia reports tonight with $355 billion on the line. Nvidia delivers fiscal Q1 2027 results after the US market closed today, roughly between 4:20 and 4:30 p.m. Eastern time, with the earnings call at 5 p.m. Options markets are pricing a move of about 6.5% in either direction tomorrow, equivalent to roughly $355 billion of market value given Nvidia's $5.4 trillion size. So if you're looking at the option market and what they're doing, essentially the market is pricing in a 6.5% move in either direction. So we are looking at Nvidia moving 6.5% in one direction or another tomorrow based on market information.
A Descent Improvement Hub tipped $10 through Super Chat. Hey Sensei, thank you as always for your guidance and dedication to helping other. Congrats again on the little one. Do you have any price targets for Flare by chance? Many blessings.
Wow, thank you so much for that super chat. $10 super chat from Ascend Improvements Hub. I appreciate it. Thank you for the congratulations. I appreciate it. It's been amazing. And thank you for your kind words about guidance and dedication. That's all we want to do, is we want to provide the best service for you guys. There's too many people out there they care so much about their own self-gain, and they sell themselves out for stupid reasons, for money. That's not what we're here to do. I want to provide the best newsletter, the best information. No AI replies, nothing like that. We are real, we are honest, and we're trying to do the best. So I appreciate that.
A Darren Dunaway FB1 Wise tipped $10 through Super Chat. I'm having baby girl on the 28th. I'm excited, my friend.
Wow, Darren Dunaway, you're having a baby girl on the 28th. Oh god, well you don't know if it's gonna be the 28th. I mean, it's very. Oh, you might know. Is your wife having might be having a cesarean, I guess. Wow, that is great news. That's so exciting, Darren.
At Tidy Big Dog tipped £1.99 through Super Chat. Hello, man waving emoji. Everyone thanks.
Thank you, Tidy Big Dog, for that super chat. Darren, that is wonderful news. Congratulations to you. Is this your first child? Let me know. That's very exciting. Okay, let's start with Ascend Improvements Hub. So you've just said Flare. Let's have a look at Flare then. Again, it's a bear market. Everything's going to bleed against Bitcoin. I'm probably going to pull up this chart, and unfortunately, it's just going to be down. So price targets we will give you on the upside and the downside then. Again, not financial advice. Please do not buy or sell based on anything I say. I am just giving you my perspective. So let's look at it between Flare on the US dollar, FLR. Flare. Yeah, I mean, we've already got all the targets, so this will be it's very unfortunate because Flare really did have some potential. If the bull market didn't end short, this could have been one of the altcoins that would have run up the most based off XRP and the bull market. But these things happen. Altcoins don't perform well in a bear market, and Look, Flare is actually at an incredible point right now. It's at all-time lows. It is worth a punt. I'm not putting all my money in it. It's going to be less than 1% of my total portfolio, maybe 5% of my crypto portfolio, or maybe 10% of my crypto portfolio. I do like Flare a lot. I'm not married to it. I know the risks in a bear market. It's just going to continue to move down against Bitcoin. And then Bitcoin's moving down as well. So you can imagine how much you're down against US dollar and how much you're down against the S&P 500 if you want to go one step further. So that's why I never say crypto should be a large part of your portfolio, because it's going to bleed in bear markets harder than other things would.
At Hovu 4773 tipped 50,000 through Super Chat. The best services, the best community, and the best kind YouTubers, Sensei and Uncle Martyn.
Thank you thank you very much. Kevin, you've been so amazing with the super chats today.
At Diesel_Ada tipped $1.99 through Super Chat. Advice, don't be a numpty bellend, how's my British?
These are it's absolutely brilliant. You're doing very well. You started off by learning nappies mean diapers, and now you've learned something else. I don't know if you're going in the right direction with all of this. Okay, let's go back to Flair. Send improvements, a wonderful $10 super chat. And we want to answer this question. So, look, crypto, let me just tell you what I'm doing with my crypto. Crypto is about 20% of my overall portfolio. It's a bit higher than most people. In the bull market, it's actually about 50% because I'm very bullish on crypto. So in a bull market, you'll see 50% of my money in crypto, mainly because crypto grows faster than the altcoins. In a bear market like now, it's about 20% of my overall portfolio. And in that 20%, maybe 5 to 10% of it is going to be dedicated to a coin like that. That's actually quite high for an altcoin, but I do like Flair. In a bear market, I like to sell some of my positions, especially the ones that made me profit. In XRP, we traded it all in the bull market. I sold some and I held on to maybe more than I should have. Still made major profits, still made 1,000% gains last cycle in XRP specifically. Altcoins weren't as good because we didn't have a proper altcoin season, but we still made money on them and we sold some of them off in the bear market. Now, with Flair, I still hold some. I'm still down on a Flair. How can you not be? We're at all-time lows. So with Flair, I like to buy these a small bunch of altcoins every time they drop about 50% or they come into a very good technical level. With Flair, we're at these levels. I bought it a few weeks ago at all-time lows, below 0.008. We're at those levels now. So we are at all-time lows. This project might go to zero. Be prepared for that. Don't put in more than you can afford to lose, especially with coins like this, because most likely they might end up being worth nothing or continue to bleed against Bitcoin. Having said that, they could go up 50x, 100x. So there is a risk to reward with these tokens, and Flair is one of the ones that I do like. So the targets are all-time lows, 0.008. We're at those levels. I will be buying some of these levels. Can I go lower? Well, we don't have, that'll be price discovery, and we don't know how much lower it will go. In that situation, let's just read this.
Ederic3 tipped $2 through Super Chat. What percentage in gold and silver?
What percentage of gold and silver? I'll come on to a question in a second. We still have 2 spots for the newsletter. Remember, we do chart analysis for all the newsletter subscribers. We're going to be doing more of those shows as well as all the other perks. There's 40% discount here in the live chat. So in the case that we go below and go into price discovery on the downswing, we don't really have technical levels that we can look at. In those situations, I just look to buy every time it drops 50% if I still think there's a chance the project will survive. So right now, I'm looking at the levels we're at now because we're at all-time lows. It's a good place to add. We're already down 90% or whatever. Next level I'll buy is probably at 0.002 or 0.003 when it's had another significant correction. The target's towards the upside, and again, if you're buying for the first time here, you can very easily probably get a 43% move towards the upside. The targets towards the upside will be around 1 cent, 2 cent, 2.5 cent, and then more in the bull market, maybe 4, 5 cents, 10 cents, etc., etc. So those are the targets. The next target towards the downside is where we're at now, so 0.008, and then the resistance, the next level towards the upside is 1 cent, and there's quite a nice potential 46% move up for Flair between these 2 levels. And the next downside level, if we break through this, who knows? I look at maybe 25-50% move towards the downside and see what I'm comfortable with risking. So hopefully that helps. Darren Dunway said, let me bring that on the chat. I'm having a baby girl on the 28th. I'm excited, my friend. Yeah, it's amazing. There's nothing like it. Tidy Big Dog says, hello, everyone. Thanks. Thank you, Tidy Big Dog. Roger that, Tidy. If I sign up to newsletter for the year, do you get your Discord for free? Mike Cass. So yeah, you get those Discord channels. Again, it's Martyn's Discord, but as newsletter subscribers, we get you get those channels for free. There's specific channels you get for free. It's not the full Discord server that you get with Martyn, but everything I do. So essentially my Discord because it's sort of my Discord server on Martyn's Discord server, but integrated with each other. So you get some of the channels for Martyn's as well. You'll get for free. So yeah, you don't have to pay for Discord for my part in Discord. So in answer to your questions, do I get my Discord for free? Essentially you do, because my Discord's in Martyn's Discord, and yeah, it's all integrated, but essentially yes, Mike Casey, but not you don't get Martyn's Discord for free, you get my Discord. There we go. Hopefully that answers your question. So definitely consider subscribing to the newsletter. Again, that's only one of the perks. Why? That's really annoying. For some reason, my cursor isn't working. Bear with me. Let me see what's going on. Oh, no, that wasn't the right thing to do. Bear with me one moment while I fix this issue. There we go, all fixed. Although it's not updating here. Very weird. We're stuck on this. Why is that not updating? Can you guys still hear me in the chat? Say yes if you can still hear me. That'd be great. Loud and clear. I'm going to have to go to this scene here and answer your questions without... Oh, that's not working either. Very strange. Oh no, here we go. We can see it again. Okay, cool. I just can't go to live chat. Martyn is starting in 7 minutes. So we've got 7 more minutes. If you want to do a super chat and get your questions answered, you can do that right now. Roger that, Tidy. Copy Diesel. Kevin said, the best services, the best community, the best kind of YouTubers, Sensei and Uncle Martyn. Thank you so much, Kevin. Really appreciate it. Advice, don't be a numpty. How's my wishes? They probably sold when Martyn sold, said Nick Jones. Yeah, you don't need to follow anyone. Do what's right for you. Don't follow me. Don't follow Martyn. Don't follow your neighbor. Do what's right for you. Everyone's situation is different. Nick Jones. Diesel, I've always wondered if you Americans understood the phrase. What percentage in gold and silver? So I assume you're asking what percentage of my portfolio is in gold and silver. Quite a large amount. So if you're looking at what would I say? Overall, everything, probably 20%, 15, 20%. And that's also because gold has run up a lot. So initially it might have been 10%. I've sold some and it's still 20%. Yeah, so it's about 20%. I'm talking about your portfolio. Yeah, talking about 20%. What about Bitcoin, bearish or bullish according to you? Bitcoin is bearish. If you're looking at the trend, I mean that can change if the market changes, but Bitcoin's bearish right now. Tarun, can you stop spamming? Can someone give him a warning? Time him out for 5 minutes. We don't like that spamming. Loud and clear. Diesel Raider. I think hearing Big O say plonk is on my new bucket list. Bloody idiots by Martyn makes my day. I love it. What other stuff do you know from the UK Diesel Raider? Mike says loud and clear. Yes, you guys can hear me. Stop spamming, please. Yeah, stop spamming. Watch this channel is the dog's politics. I love it, Diesel Raider. Hello, Sensei. Says, God, he's off the rails. Songs for Space says, hello, Sensei. Lovely to have you here. Songs for Space. We're going to be ending the show. Stay exactly where you are because we're going to be going over to the Nvidia earnings. So if anyone wants to do a super chat for any other chart requests, any other questions you have, you can put it in the live chat or do it as a super chat. You can just type in the ticker symbol, whether it's a stock or a crypto. We can apply the indicators and do analysis for those charts. We are, again, if you look at the rundown, we're on the final section, charts and Q&A. So the rest is stocks. Yeah, the rest is stocks. Exactly. Well, stocks and bonds. So yeah, 20% crypto, 20% gold and silver. Maybe 25% crypto, to be honest. I don't know. I don't have it written down on me, but roughly 25% crypto, 20% gold, 20%, or about 20% bonds cash, or 25% bonds cash, and then 30-40% equities. So yeah. Okay, so the rest is okay, cool. I think those are all the questions. You can drop in the questions. Let me see if you've opened. Far, you haven't given me your what? Please provide your email address. You have to provide, if you want access to the indicators and you're already on Discord, open a ticket, give me your email address and your TradingView username. If you're only on Substack, open up a private DM. If you haven't got either of them and you want the TradingView, you want the TradingView indicators, the ones that you can add on any charts, you can certainly open a you can sign up, and that link is in the live chat. Hi, I have the newsletter. Oh, CryptoBorg. Yeah, CryptoBorg, I can see you've already got the role, so I can already know you've got the newsletter because I've already verified you before, and you've just provided me. Do I have access to everything? Oh yeah, CryptoBorg, you have access. I don't know. Have you do you have access to the indicators? Have you asked for the indicators? Have you given me your TradingView username before? You've got access to Discord, that's for sure, because I can see the role on your name. So 10% gold, 10% silver. More like 15% gold and 5% silver. STM, please. I'm not taking this. Oh, it's not allowed it. That's crazy. It's not. How is it allowed the other ones, but it doesn't allow it to read this one? STM. STM. Okay, let's have a quick look. Let's just have a quick countdown. Yeah, Martyn's starting in 2 minutes, so we've got a second. Wow, look at this. That's a good run. STM. I always like to see what the stock's about. Semiconductor company. Yeah, looks good. What's the market cap? I always like to look at that. 54 billion. Okay, very well established. And it's gone on a very good run. You can see these indicators. It flips above the indicator, and then it goes on its move up. Once it flips these indicators, not only do you look at the triangles, you also look at when it's above the indicator and when it's below the indicator. Below the indicator, you're essentially bearish. Above the indicator, essentially you're in a bull market and you act as support. So that was a breakout above the indicator, and you're up. Since that breakout on that indicator, this is the Sensei momentum band. You are up 79% in 28 days. Congratulations if you've been in that position. Again, it's above all-time highs, so we would expect at some point a pullback towards all-time highs. So $54, $50 is psychological, $60. So yeah, about $55. You're looking at an area where people want to buy back in if we do go back there. So that's an area you can add to your position. It's also an area that some people would have taken profits, depending on when you got involved in this position. Look at that, the trigger alert went bullish. The more you look at these indicators, the more crazy it is. In 49 days, the trigger alert actually gave you a better entry at, and it's still bullish right now. It's still above it. 94% in 49 days. If you look at the green triangle there. And the momentum band even better. I mean, all three. If they're all three are bullish, that's good. The momentum band gave you 148% in 133 days. It's more than 1% a day. So all the indicators are currently bullish. You're above all indicators. What I'll keep an eye for, if it's going to go bearish, you keep an eye on all three of those indicators, or you look at when it breaks below all-time highs. That's an area we look for to add to position or to make sure it's still in a bullish trend. Higher highs and higher lows. Currently, you've got higher highs and higher lows, and you're above all three indicators, so that's great to see. One of your targets might be psychological, maybe $70, $80, mainly $100 would be your main target on this. But again, it depends what the broader market does. This will react very well to in correlation to the Nvidia earnings. So keep an eye on that. Okay, so Martyn is starting. So thank you everyone for tuning in to this Fed FOMC minutes show. We have gone through everything on the side. If you do want to scroll back and see what the minutes were, we did do a full analysis on it. I'll be sending something out in Discord about what those minutes said. So keep an eye out on that. Make sure you stay active on the Sensei chat. Sensei's calling Sensei's chat. All Discordians and all newsletter subscribers have access to that specific chat. If you are a newsletter member but you're not taking advantage of all the perks, come over to Discord, give me your email address, and I can onboard you to everything. If you're not on Discord already. If you are on Discord already, open up a ticket and we can always add you to the indicators and give you access to the channels. You can also click on your own name. If you've got the sensei.news role, you've already got it. You might have not taken advantage of the indicators if you haven't provided me with your username. Thank you everyone for tuning in. I also love Ramsey, How to Cook a Muscle, Only Fools and Horses, Diesel. Check it out. Yeah, you would love that. Do you use Martyn as a tax write-off for the super chats? Says these were. I don't know what's going on there. Thank you all for tuning in. It's been a great show. I appreciate all the love and support. We'll be back. I've got a big carry trade video coming out hopefully tomorrow if I can get it out in time. And now onto the big event of today, Nvidia earnings with Martyn. If you stay where you are, it'll take you directly there. Let me close the poll. It is it's also pinned above Martyn's show is pinned above. Even if you're not investing in Nvidia, which it seems like 76% of you aren't, I'm sure you guys are. Maybe in your pension funds, maybe through the S&P 500. It's still going to affect everyone's portfolio. So go and check it out. It's going to great insights there. Martyn's actually going to go through the cheat sheet as well, so that will be a lot of information for you guys. Until next time, as always, take care of yourselves and each other.